There's not a lot to talk about with the Oscars. I just got off of Piers Morgan, and we were talking about it, and it was kind of a meh show. There is some clips out there of stupidity because it's Hollywood, but they clearly, and I mean clearly, got the memo. Do not mention Trump's name. I thought after the events with Zelensky getting schooled, that there would be Ukraine flags everywhere. We would see little blockbuster pins everywhere. And we didn't. There was a Daryl Hannah came out and said Slava Ukraine. Daryl Hannah, I mean, she's been in a lot of great Splash, Blade Runner, Kill Bill. She's a dumb old woke white woman. But I like some of the stuff she was in. And that's what happens to a lot of actresses when they hit this is, Hollywood. When they hit the perceived wall, they become activists because, just being hot girl, they can't get away with it anymore. They can't get away with it anymore in Hollywood. The way the politics work there. Oh, yeah, nothing's changed post Me Too. Fucking nothing's changed at all. Well, I can't say that with women. All right. They're not underrepresented. They're not underpaid. That's a bunch of horse shit in Hollywood. Especially with the DEI stuff. What is underrepresented, what has changed is Hollywood is no longer masculine. It is not a very masculine town. And they probably thought they could move past masculinity. And it turns out they couldn't because we're still half the planet, although women do outlive us. That female privilege that they have. But it wasn't a super gay Oscars. Conan O'Brien did. I know where his politics are from, and I know he did that cringe, like Haiti's a great country. Haiti doesn't need to change. Why don't you go visit it now, Conan? But I've mostly liked Conan O'Brien. I think he was the superior late night host to maybe all but Craig Ferguson. He probably should have taken over. He probably would have ended up like all of them anyway. I don't know. But he seemed to have maintained most of his dignity and integrity. And he's a funny guy. But I think he did fine. And he's been the best host in years. This was the least offensive Oscar in years. It's also the most boring. I watched the majority for Film Threat and for Chris, the majority of Best Picture nominees, including Anora, including A Complete Unknown, Wicked, Amelia Perez. Oh, Dune Part 2, of course. And I would say, and Substance, 3 on that list actually were worthy of probably being a nomination, but not winning in any other year. And I include that with Dune Part 2 because I think Dune Part 1 was better, was a superior movie. The list was just shit. And and I thought it was, survive until 25, which means they pushed everything off to this year, supposedly, which has, by the way, been the slowest box office year since COVID so far. So I'm not sure how that strategy worked. I think they actually will say, instead of survive till 25, we'll have the fix in 26. Pray to heaven somebody comes back in 27. I don't know. They can keep having these sayings. I just don't think I think they aren't quite faced with the reality that they have dug themselves in such a hole that they are no longer prominent anymore. And celebrities, I just mentioned this on Piers, thanks to social media, we got to know them, and that ended the era of celebrities. Now we have, is this era better? No. Now we're in the era of influencers. Oh my God, influencers. I fucking hate that word, by the way. It's applicable to some people, but I fucking hate it. But it was a SNOOZEFEST, and what made it entertaining was I got to hang out with my friends and just kind of roast it and roast each other, and that was fun. And that's what we used to do at the Oscar watch parties. The Oscar used to be known as the gay Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen, and now it's just gay. No, it's just boring. And to be fair to them, there wasn't a bunch of you couldn't nominate Deadpool and Wolverine for Best Picture. You could no fucking way. Dark Knight, Should have been nominated. I would argue should have won. We can go back way back in the past. I think there was an article that finally fucking acknowledged reality. And I think it was from the Hollywood Reporter that said it was like all the times the Hollywood got it wrong. And they finally pointed out that Chariots of Fire, a bunch of fucking slow English people running in slow motion to arguably a really good soundtrack. Okay. Should not have beaten Raiders of the Lost Ark for Best Picture. That's a fucking joke. And listen, I'll go one further. I know a lot of the Hollywood cinephiles love Annie Hall. Fuck Annie Hall. Fuck Annie Hall. Star Wars should have won Best Picture. Nobody but hardcore cinephiles even remember Annie Hall, directed by the guy who married his fucking stepdaughter. The 2022 Oscars were 1,000 times worse than this. So if you want to see evidence of your cultural shift and where you are winning, you could argue that Hollywood shutting the fuck up for the Oscars, kind of a win. I think the best speech was Sean Baker telling Hollywood that we're dying here. We need to fix some things. And one of those is a longer theatrical window. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Without theaters, Hollywood and the Oscars and the big money train that they had will not continue. The problem is you cannot unmake the soup with streaming. It's out there. There's nothing you can do. And what they don't acknowledge is once you did that, you just made everything free because it's a lot easier to pirate shit. Now it's a lot easier to pirate shit. It was harder to pirate shit when you made physical media, you dumb shits, but whatever. It wasn't impossible, but you know, celebs are worthless now. And that's why it's such a crisis for them. It's an identity crisis for them because their whole identity is not wrapped up in, they like their bank accounts, but man, what really matters to them is you mattering to them, influence, their ego. They need the constant adulation. They need that. They need it to live. And they're not influential anymore. They're not. As a matter of fact, they're de-influential. Is that a term? I just made it a term. Probably makes no sense. Yes, so the Oscar goes light on politics despite heated climate amid Trump's second term. Conan O'Brien, Adrian Brody, and Daryl Hannah were among the few people to make political center remarks, although the 2025 awards ceremony on Sunday. Well, with Adrian Brody, he just said, you know, don't forget to check hate and watch out for the anti-Semitism. And I think that was in a response for the most political thing clearly was the Palestinian movie winning and them talking about Gaza and genocide and stuff. So I'm thinking Adrian was responding to that a little bit, but not really sure. Yes, Conan, while he's was introducing Anora, which wasn't a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's fine. It's a fine rom-com. Is 5 Oscars and a Best Picture. I think that's more indicative of what little came out. I thought The Substance was a better movie. All around better performances. I thought Anora was fine. It's not my kind of movie at all. I can sit through rom-coms. I can sit through them, but it's just like, it was like, you know, I've kind of seen this done before, but I think it's good that a guy who spent $6 million on the movie won. I think that's overall good. Nobody's going to watch it. Nobody's seen it. Nobody's heard of Nickel Boys. No, nominated for Best Picture. Yeah. Substance was the best one I watched out of the list. Despite this year being highly political so far, with Donald Trump back in the White House, the 2025 Oscars were surprisingly the opposite. Not really surprisingly at all. No. I again, up until the Zelensky thing, I'm like, no, there's no way they're going to say shit this year. And there's no way they are this quiet without being told to be this quiet. They were told. Don't let anybody tell you different. They were fucking told. Amazon's biggest night. Why did I say Amazon? Oh, because Hollywood's Amazon now. That's so weird that I just said Amazon. I'm looking right at the word Hollywood. Hollywood's biggest night typically offers several moments of politically focused commentary, whether it be from the host, presenters, or winners. However, this year, most avoided commenting on the current tense political climate, other than minor remarks sprinkled throughout the Sunday night ceremony. Since Trump's second presidency got underway in January, he has been publicly scrutinized for his controversial agenda wanting to make America great again, wanting to stop wars, wanting to scrutinize the government that takes our money and fails audits. And now we're like going to save some money now. These are horrible, controversial things to evil people, to people who want to be authoritarians, who want to steal from us, who want to destroy our country. So yes, certainly it's controversial to evil people and dumb motherfuckers. Let's not forget that. We can't have evil people without a bunch of dumb motherfuckers. One and the same, baby. Sweeping executive orders. Yeah, you weren't saying that when Obama was doing them. Affecting immigration. No, illegal aliens. Illegal immigration. Climate change. Federal diversity programs. Yeah, we can get rid of those. Fuck paying for a transgender comic book in Peru. Fuck paying for wars. Fuck all that shit. No, you're all cut off. The kindest thing you can do to an addict when they're in the thralls of addiction, the greatest act of love my father ever showed me was kicking me out of the house and cutting me off. And that's what we need to do with everybody right now. They're on our fucking teat. We aren't getting any value for our dollar at all. And we're not the fucking world police. So no, you're all cut off. And that's what I voted for. And most Americans voted for. And transgender rights. Look, a dude was nominated for Best Actress. A fucking man. A dude who played a dude for a third of the movie was nominated for Best Actress. Talk to me about your fucking rights. What about the rights of the woman who got left off because a fucking man was nominated for Best Actress? And I think Hollywood had some instant regret. I think my conspiratorial mind, and I mentioned this on Piers, I think they purposely looked for those bad tweets, knowing they were there, to get out of this decision. Because if that would have been all the news, because that dude was going to win. Absolutely. And I was fucking hoping for it. If those tweets don't come up, Amelia Perez sweeps. Fucking sweeps. And I think somebody maybe had a brain in the Oscars going, you know, this might not be the best idea. Is there anything we can find on this person? Oh, there is. Oh, praised Hitler. Okay, that's it. By the way, on Piers, I called him a he. And I will continue calling him a he. As far as if you're a transgender individual and you're of healthy, sound mind and body, and we meet in real life and you ask me nicely, I may consider it. But I'm very comfortable with the pronouns I've been using for 55 years, and they're the only ones I give a fuck about. And I will not participate in your fantasies. While host Conan O'Brien kept his opening monologue apolitical, he found a moment later in the ceremony to do a quick joke about Trump. Yeah, not standing up to a Russian guy. I'm sorry, what standing up to Russian guys has any of the previous presidents done? Who's the only president who Putin's ever been worried about? See, I think it's really possible to not like either government, have no problem with Ukrainian people or Russian people whatsoever, but I don't like either government. And I think it's very easy to just go, let them work it out. I don't want us involved. America first. I don't think any British boots should be on the ground. That is the fucking dumbest thing ever. We're heading right towards World War III. For what? But yeah, they took that jab and Daryl Hannah, but that was it. The biggest takeaway is they didn't say much, right? I don't know about afterwards or before, and I don't really care. I'm guessing the ratings again. I went to go check the ratings. Oscar 2025 ratings. Nothing yet. That'll be tomorrow. Late tonight, tomorrow. Quick, the substance review, please. Gary, love you. A quick review. I thought it was the most creative movie of the Best Picture nominees, as far as style, as far as particularly editing. Like, it is, the editing on it is just, there's no better word, sexy. I'm a editor, so that's what I gravitate towards, and it was phenomenal editing. stylish directing, lots of homage to past horror, and a scathing and absolute scathing commentary on beauty standards in Hollywood. And Demi Moore is fucking great in it. She's great. Washed up actress, willing to do anything to stay youthful, and it creates you literally you take the substance and a younger version of you pops out your back. And the company that creates the substance is always mindful to say, you are the Matrix. You are the one in control. It's actually you. You're not a separate person. But your husk of an old body stays there and it has to be fed, right? And then it is still the brain. It is still the hard drive of the new body. But they start to separate, obviously. Now, the end goes full Gwar. It goes full, like, just blood spraying metal. And I fucking loved it. But it's fast paced. It was the best directed film. It was the best edited film. Demi Moore's performance is better than Mickey or whatever her name is in Anora, like by orders of magnitude better. She's fine in that movie. Not saying she's terrible, but she was not better than Demi Moore. It was a total fucking snub. As far as body horror movies go, it's pretty good. I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse. So, but it goes crazy at the end, and I know not everybody, because they could have really explored some deeper things in this, but it kind of remembers what the movie is, and the movie it's a horror movie. It's a black comedy horror movie, and Dennis Quaid is great in it. Like but I loved the style of it. I loved how it was directed. It was shot like it. It was cinema. It was cinematic. Anora, well-directed movie. Fast-paced, pretty good editing, and it's just very serviceable. The substance was something artistic. Was something on another level. And when you mix that in with a certain type of surrealism that I've always been a fan of, going back to, like, who I believe is the modern master of surrealism, which is Terry Gilliam. I really like it when it's done right. So, Substance is a banger. Absolute banger.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.